Okay, this is the first in a little series called Can You Do This? So we've got a little movie here that you're going to try and create. In the background you can see Flash. This is the exported movie, and all that's happening is I've got a graphic here, a movie clip. Okay, we've got a symbol here, and I'm changing the position by using different buttons. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and it moves the graphic. Okay. So the challenge is to do this, okay, to be able to move this guy around doing these things. And if you can do this, then you should be okay for the skills test. Now this is a positioning tutorial, so you're going to use your buttons with a piece of script on them, and the script is going to call a function, and the function is going to change the X and Y position. Okay, that's your first sort of hint. What you should do now is stop this video at this point, think about what's happening, and see if you can create all the graphics that need to be done, and start coding. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. You can pause this video and pick it up when you're ready to go. Okay, so you should now at least have the graphics done. So you should have some sort of graphic. It doesn't have to be a smiley face, it can be whatever, that doesn't matter. And the arrows are going to point in different ways. There should be 4 different buttons. Each of them should have an instance name. Okay, so butt 1, butt 2, butt 3, butt 4, or butt up, butt right, butt down, butt left. Doesn't matter how you do it as long as they have independent instance names. And your movie clip has to have an instance name. This, again, has to be a movie clip, and these must be buttons. I'm going to pause, or I'm going to get you to pause your video right there and make sure that you've done all of that. You should now try to start the coding for this. So the hint that you need is that you're changing X and Y positions. Now we did this already. You know how to change an X and a Y position. The quality or the property that you're changing is .x and .y. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you can pause this video at this point, and if you need to, you can come back for your next hint. Okay, hopefully you are good to go at this point. You should at least have a start done. So let's take a look at what I've got. So here is my my movie clip. Okay, I've called it Square, which is kind of a dumb name for it, but Square. And here I've got my a group of buttons. I've got one that's called up, one that's called right, one that's called down, and one that's called left. Okay, so that should be easy enough to work with. And then I've got some code here, so let's take a quick look at my code. Okay, now without seeing all of it, let's oh, I can't. Alright, so this is our first call. Okay, so you're going to add a call to your button. This is called up. Okay, there's our instance name up, and you're going to add a call to your up button. Okay, now you should be able to guess what your up button is doing. Okay, it's going to do something. It's going to call a function. That function is going to run some instructions. Those instructions are going to move something on your movie clip. Okay, so do that now. See if you can figure out, once you've added your event, your mouse click event to this button, what does the function do? Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have at least this. Okay, you should have a button with some code, and the code is going to be applied to that button. It's a mouse click event, which you've done. Now this guy here, this is the default handler, and I've added up to the end of it because I'm going to have 4 of the same kind of buttons with the same kind of code on them, and I need the functions to be independent. I need them to be different names. So this one is up and this one is down. Okay. Hopefully you've gotten all of this. So you've got, there's your click event, and here's the function. The function, very simply, as long as this matches this, everything should work. And what's it doing? Well, it is taking whatever this graphic is, okay, the movie clip, whatever it's called. I called mine, weirdly, I called it square. Obviously, when I first did this, this would have been a square. And it's changing the dot y, which is the y position. Okay, so remember on a graph, we've got up and down, so you've got your y value. Okay, and I'm changing it to whatever it was minus 10. Right, so if my value was 100 and I click on this, it should change it to 100 minus 10, which is 90, so it'll move up. I click it again, it'll go from 90 to 90 minus 10, which is 80, so it'll keep on moving up. So right now, if I go here and I click on this, my y value is 86. I click on this, and it should move it to 76, which will be up here somewhere. Well, it's 65, but anyways, it'll move it up a little bit, right? And every time I do that, it subtracts 10 from my y position. Okay, do that. If you're able to get to this point, you should be able to get to through all of them because they all use very similar code. Just make sure that your buttons are named independently. They've all got their own functions associated with them, and if you do that, you should be able to finish this. Based on what you see here, you should be able to do the rest. Now notice that I've got two variants here. I've got square dot y is equal to square dot y minus 10, or you could alternatively do it this way here, which is square dot y minus equals, okay, which means the same thing as this piece of code up here. You're just saying make it equal to less 10. Okay, you should be able to take this and apply all of this to get this thing working. Okay, pause the video here and come back to it later. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you got this. There are very similar calls for each of these. Now they don't have to be functioned like this. You can have them all in the same spot if you wanted to. So you could have all of your calls like this so that they're all organized. That doesn't really matter. It's good form to do it this way. Make sure that each of your functions is named independently. So I've got up, down, left, right. Up and down are going to be your y values that you're changing, and your left to right are going to be your x values. So you're adding or subtracting 10. Oh, I'm missing a semicolon here. I'm probably missing a semicolon here. Okay. Just make sure that you've named everything accurately. You haven't, used a capital S here, or make sure that it matches whatever you've used for your instance names. That should be it. You should be able to do this, and if not, you need to rewatch some of the videos to make sure that you understand it. Okay, great.